Welcome to it, sports fans. The MKT Show. Just out here. It's raining here. Had some interesting challenges. The rain, but it is what it is. Good to have the rain. Good to have summer around. Friday. It is Friday, which is good news, I guess. Welcome to it. I'm MKT, Gareth Cliff Central Sport, the MKT Show. Let's get into it. Friday means Friday 5. And of course, this week we lost. Tough to describe this guy. He's tough to describe because there isn't a middle ground on him. And he's an enigma, which naturally means brash, outspoken, beloved, passionate. So it's difficult. You either love him or you hate him. There's no middle ground. So he's either great or he's trash. All right. El Pibe de Oro, they called him. Had the great experience of going to the La Bombonera 2008. Got to go and see Boca Juniors, the real Classico, by the way. To those of you that have money in 400 years' time when we come out of the COVID economy, I would highly recommend, if you are a sports fan and you would like a spiritual experience. And I'll tell you, I've been to derbies all around the world, right? From Russia, Italy. I've done the Great Milan Derby a couple of times. I've done El Clasico. I've done all of the English derbies, the great ones, including Yorkshire, by the way, which is a great one. Done Middlesbrough, Sunderland. I've done all of them. Pirates, Chiefs here in South Africa is an incredible one. There is nothing quite like ever, and I don't believe in sport. I've done the Ashes in England. Watched Rugby World Cup. I was at the Football World Cup final. There is nothing like Boca Juniors versus River Plate. There is nothing. In the La Bombonera, in the chocolate box. Still, in 2008, he had retired, 10 years earlier? I forget when Maradona left the game. But still, Maradona's image was larger. There were Maradona shirts. There were more Maradona shirts than Riquelme, Batistuta, at that time, Martin Palermo, who is the great number 9 that they love there. To this day, the modern day players cannot live up to this young man's name, or tragically dead now. El Pibe de Oro, the golden boy. There was something about him. You loved him or you hated him. I'll give you my top number 10s to ever play football. That is my Friday 5. I'm going to give you my 5 greatest number 10s to ever play football. Ever. In my, I'll give you my top 5 list, and then I'll talk a little bit about Tottenham, Spurs. But before I get into the top 5, listen, being fun all the time doesn't make you necessarily a great boyfriend, a great wife, a great husband, a great father, a great friend. We all like people that like to have fun, right? But they're not great. They're not great for us. See, the mistake I think many of us make, and I listen, I'm not sanctimonious. I have to put myself in this. Is sometimes when it makes us feel good, we make the what they call a correlation causation error. Is if it makes me feel good, it is good. Now, if you're an adult, you know that's not true. You know deep down on some level, just because it makes you feel good, it doesn't mean it is good for you. And we make this mistake all the time. And I'll use a simple example. Listen, we all want to date someone good looking, right? Is you can't see somebody's personality, you meet them up front, and you presume, and we all make this mistake, it's a bias we all have, whether in work or personal life, is when you want to get in relationships, you see somebody good looking, they have nice shoes, you think, okay, that's going to work. They are good. They are a good person, purely because they're good looking. Hey, listen, go and look at all the advertising in the world. 6 packs, ladies, flat stomachs. You want good looking, right? Aesthetics go back, even if you are a fan of philosophy, and I'm sure many people are. Cliff Central has so many smart listeners. I've come to hear and listen, and they've sent us such great emails with detailed history. If you go back to ancient Greek history, aesthetics is a study even there. So if something looks a certain way, there's a reason. If you look at Socrates and all these great people, they are sculpted in a certain way. And all sculptures, even if you are old, they will always capture you in your best form. So even Socrates is depicted with a 6-pack. We all know now that he was a fat, overweight slob who it was said never wore shoes, Famously, Socrates, of course, not the great Brazilian footballer, but the philosopher is known as he was born to curse all shoemakers, known for not wearing shoes. But even if you look at all the sculptures, big chest, big abs. So the aesthetics, we understand, have always had an effect on the human soul. And some people just have that je ne sais quoi. Right? We know you go out, you want to talk to the best looking girl or guy. That's your biases. The personality thing you see later. Just because something is good and it tastes good, it is good, it makes you feel good, doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. I'm going to get into my top 5 with that. Here is my Friday 5. With the loss of El Pibe de Oro, Diego Maradona, I thought I'd do the right thing and give you the greatest number 10s. So those who wore the jersey number 10, not necessarily played in that position. There are people I left off the list purely because they didn't wear the number 10. They may have played in the number 10 role, the trequista, as the Italians call it. But they are not on this list because they did not wear the famous jersey and did not take it to a different echelon. All right, at number 5, listen, 6 Serie A titles, very underrated, a quiet figure, but truly a god for the Bianconeri, right? I've been at the old lady, and they played at the old, what was the old, I think Giuseppe Miazza, it was called. But great stadium. So they're in the Juventus stadium now. The previous stadium in Turin, right, was unbelievable. Old, rickety, but intimate, beautiful stadium. I went and watched football there a couple of times. He's got 6 Serie A titles for them, a Champions League, a World Cup winner with Italy in 2006. And he's Juventus' leading goal scorer of all time. He never gets credit, right? Everybody defers to Baggio. Baggio was actually a bit of a journeyman. I've always had a problem with that, journeyman and being an enigma everywhere. Listen, it's very easy to be a traveling salesman and reinvent yourself in a new town all the time. We all know people that are constantly moving towns. Nobody knows what's really going on. Why aren't you staying in one place? Yeah, listen, you can't be great if you don't stay in the same place. The grass isn't always green on the other side. At number 5, for me, the 5th greatest player of all time, Alessandro Del Piero. And I won't hear different. 290 goals and sublime from beginning to end. By the way, expectation at 16, they said this is the next one. He went and outdid all of that. Expectation's always a killer. The 5th greatest number 10 to ever play this great game of ours, Alessandro Del Piero. At number 4, listen, he was Algerian descent, but he was unbelievable because he made it look so easy. It felt like he would never sweat on the football field, almost never ran. Famously asked, why don't you chase back when we lose the ball? He said, because I never lose it. Listen, he had a body like an ox, possibly the best technique ever in midfield. You might say Xavi or Xabi Alonso might match him here. But in terms of ball shielding, creativity, and just that killer touch. Simple 2-touch player, but he made the basics look easy. He was unbelievable. 2-time Serie A winner. That goal in the Champions League final, 2 goals against that Brazil team in the World Cup final. Once named in, was it 1998, the World Player of the Year. And against that Brazil team, he took that final over. Yes, they say Ronaldo got sick. Listen, you can only do who you play against. At number 4, the great, the one and only Zizou, Zinedine Zidane. At number 3, this one actually caught me off guard because I've always been torn on this guy. I don't love potty boys, right? I was one myself, so maybe it's me running from myself. But the thing is, there is a maverick in me, and I've got something for mavericks because I don't like people that conform and fit in a box and everyone like me. But I come from a home of discipline. You are who you are. My father, extremely disciplined man. But sometimes you transcend that. And when I was creating this list, I thought he's not even going to make my top 10. But you go and look at his record. I mean, 2-time La Liga winner, Serie A, that 2002 Brazil World Cup team, the original Jogo Bonito. Has anybody ever made it look easier? I mean, there were games when he looked unplayable. He looked like he was governed by different laws of gravity. The way he brought the football down, the strength, the ability to go past people. He just made it look so easy. Plus, the resume is great. You can't deny that. La Liga, Serie A, World Cup, 2 Champions League wins as well, or a Champions League victory with Barcelona. Like, what do you do about this guy? Love him or hate him, right? Frustrated the hell out of me because he couldn't keep it together off the field. And I think that is important as a part of greatness. But sometimes when you're this good, when you are this good, I mean, come on. Really Probably the most exciting player to ever play football. Just when he has it at his feet. Maybe the guy at number one for a slightly different reason. But football, as I've always said, it is the highest form of expression, ladies and gentlemen, of culture. Right? I've always said football is the highest expression of culture, and culture is art. And if art is meant to move the human soul, right? The point of art is to evoke the human soul and evoke a reaction out of us. Very few, and I think nobody probably did it this way. The big smile, the teeth, the ponytail, ladies and gentlemen. At number 3, Brazil's one and only favorite son, absolutely magnificent, Joga Bonito, Ronaldinho. He was, for those young people who haven't seen him, I feel for you. I'm a Real Madrid guy, but he was something. And as a Chelsea fan, you must know there's a dagger in my heart. I was at that game, by the way, just so people know. I was at that game where he does the dance, toe poke past Peter Cech. It was something to see. And that night, just the way he played, he ran the midfield. I mean, that Xavi, that Iniesta, they had these brilliant players, but he looked like he was from a different planet. It was like an alien had been dropped in there, and everybody was playing to his rules. He was unbelievable. And having seen him live is one of the greatest honors in what is my favorite thing on earth. I love football more than anything, love sport more than anything, but he was a maestro. At number 2, the greatest Brazilian to ever live. This is the greatest Brazilian footballer to ever live by a long shot. It's not even close. Greatest Brazilian ever. Listen, when it's 17, because life's about character, right? Everybody's a big talker in life. Everyone's a big talker. Yeah, and no one hates, and you'll often hear me go on about people will love it or hate it, but I've done what I've done in my playing days. Listen, we can all talk. I couldn't deliver. I didn't have the character to go professional. It's not about ability. Everyone's talented once you get to that level. You got to have the character. Listen, at 17, the greatest footballing nation on earth says, we're going to put this thing on your shoulders. 1958, with everything. Listen, 1958 was a different world. Could you imagine being... And he didn't look like Kaka. He looked like a black guy. He goes to Sweden in that time, 1958. Could you imagine a 17-year-old? Brazil saying, it's all on you. By the way, without you, we lose. With you, you take us to the promised land. Expectation is a killer. He was the best player in the world at 17. Expectation coming into Sweden, 1958. He goes there. He gets the first for Brazil of 3. Quite sensational. When you're the best player, not just in Brazil, but in the world at the age of 17, that's incredible. 3 wins for Brazil in the World Cup finals. He's Brazil's second greatest striker of all time, but he wore the number 10 and really created the aura for that jersey. At number 2, the second greatest number 10 of all time, the one and only Pelé. He was, okay. Listen, just go and look up the records. 3 World Cups. He was 17, best player in the world. 17, not old enough to drive. Barely old enough to pay tax and register for that. Just different. That's different gravy. That is different gravy. But at number 1, this guy's from a different planet, right? I don't think we'll ever see this again. Sometimes we don't know how to appreciate greatness, and we make this mistake all the time. You know, whenever you're in a relationship, you hear, we've all got these friends. Let me speak from a man's perspective. I'm like, she's beautiful, she's ambitious, she's driven. Next thing you hear, the guy cheated on him. You know why? Because we're really bad at appreciating when we have great. Because what happens is you just get used to great. You go, oh no, that's the standard. What you need to do in life is leave a bad relationship, right? Or leave a great relationship and get into a bad one. We've all been there. And then you go, oh my God. Because you get home and the house is nice and clean. On the weekends, there's plans. Somebody's made plans for you. Somebody's made dinner. Somebody's adjusted to your lifestyle. Somebody's communicating with your mother or father. These are great relationships. But you've got to leave a great relationship sometimes to know that, oh, there are bad relationships out there. And people are bad at appreciating great. Right? If you can't be great, you always want to pull great down. We're terrible as human beings at appreciating great. We're terrible. It is the dark side of the moon. We need to check the weather of our consciousness. We are in the presence of all-time greatness. The greatest sportsman of all time. This is the greatest sportsman of all time. I don't care what anybody says. And I love Tiger Woods. I've always argued for Tiger. But this is the greatest sport on the planet. And he is by far the greatest proponent of it ever. ever. Take every player I've given you on this list. All of the characteristics are within this one man. 10 La Liga titles. 10 La Liga titles where he's been the main player. 4 Champions League titles. 6 times he's out on his own. 6 times he's been Ballon d'Or. Count that. 6 times. He played in the same team as Iniesta and Xavi for most of that, and Ronaldinho. And he's still 6 times he's been the best player in the world. In one season, he scored 73 goals in 60 games for Barcelona in one season. 11-12. 73 goals in 60 games. In that season, by the way, he gets 81 in the calendar year for club and country. 81 goals in a calendar year. And he's not a striker. He's a genuine number 10. By the way, for a long stretch there, Ibrahimovic, Eto'o, and then he had the great David Villa. So he wasn't the striker, by the way, in all these times. In 11-12, he's got David Villa with him. Samuel Eto'o with him in these times that he's playing. 6 seasons where he scored 50 goals or more for Barcelona. 6 seasons of 50 goals or more. 640 goals, 282 assists in his career. So don't tell me he's just a ball hog. If anything, his assist game is his strength. He really wants to set people up. Right? He scores the goals that Diego Maradona is famous for scoring against England, right, in that 86 World Cup war. He scores those goals week in, week out. That's his daily bread. For 10 years, it was his daily bread. Everybody says that Maradona goal, greatest goal of all time. Forget it. Leo Messi's doing that every week against better athletes in better leagues. Athletes are more professional now. They're fitter now. And he's making them look like children. He makes the best of the best. He's made Real Madrid. He's made Real Madrid the greatest club of all time. He made them bend the knee for the last decade and a half. Single-handedly, he has ripped away power from the principality. He is simply the greatest player of all time. I don't care about World Cups. I don't care about Copa America. International sport is not the highest level of it anymore. It never has been. At number 1, he is the one and only. Honestly, I'm not interested in the conversation. Everyone keeps telling me Maradona is the real number 10 for Argentina. Stop it. He's the greatest the Albiceleste they have ever produced. He's the greatest football has ever been given. It is a gift to have this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest number 10 of all time, the one and only Leo Messi. The one and only Leo Messi. Maradona doesn't make my top 5. He doesn't. Just because something is exciting. Listen, when you meet that good-looking girl at the club and you're drinking on a Sunday, she seems great. But greatness is about character as well. I need that. That does matter. And if you're not going to have great character, I need you to win a lot. Maradona gave me 2 Serie A titles and a World Cup. What must I do with that? What must I do with that? His job's to be a football player. Listen, sometimes we get caught up in, that is what we call form over substance. Right? How many times you hear about corruption out there and accountants have to go massage and torture the numbers because we're obsessed with substance. We're obsessed with form over substance. Real life, if you're a grown-up, right? Stop. Real grown-ups, you don't give your kids sour worms for breakfast. Everyone wants to be liked, and that was Maradona's downfall, right? He wanted to be loved, and it's tough. He comes from whatever beginnings. And the mafia, of course, I think they caused some problems for him. Right? He failed at Barcelona. You have to say this. Don't overlook it because you like him. At Barcelona, he didn't have a character to hold up. And that's part of it. That's part of the deal. Part of being great is you have to deal with pressure. You know why we call you great? Is when you do things we feel we can't. Anybody can go anywhere and succumb to pressure. It's hard. I know it's cutthroat. Listen, I believe in alpha males and alpha females, right? If you want to be beta and talk about soft power, I don't want my real life reflecting nature, but sport is about win-lose. And that is a nature environment. Winners win, losers lose. I'm sorry, Maradona let Barcelona down and they gave him every chance. The Napoli thing, we've got to be very clear about it. The Mafia looked after him. There's no way he would have survived playing at Napoli in a professional team if the Mafia had not taken him on. If you want to know what I'm talking about, there is a great interview, by the way, with his very first real agent after Ozzy Ardiles could not handle him anymore. He handed him over to a guy called John Smith. Go and look for that episode. It is on YouTube here. John Smith tells the great story about when John had to hand Maradona over, and the mafia came to him in the basement of a Napoli apartment to say, Mr. Smith, your work is done here. He never saw Maradona again. The rest is glorious history. But Maradona, I'm afraid, is not in my top 5 number 10s. He just isn't. What do I do with 2 Serie A's in a World Cup? His job's still to be a footballer. Folks, a good girlfriend, a good partner, a good husband, or a good boyfriend, somebody you meet, a fling, they don't make the best parents, right? Is when you've got wife material, husband material, I need to get home and know that my kids are safe. I need to get home and know that you're going to have a relationship with my mother, with my brother, with my sister, with my cousins. That's wife material. That's greatness. Being a girlfriend's easy, man, because you can leave at any time, by the way. Being a boyfriend's easy. You can leave at any time. If you want to be the real deal, and whether you believe in marriage or not, you can be a lifetime partner. I'm not necessarily on the marriage train. I'll be honest with you. Like, you don't have to get married. Maybe if you have kids, get married. But you don't necessarily need to get married. But if you want to transition from girlfriend or boyfriend to life partner, right? To be great, I need to be able to rely on you when I'm not there. That's greatness. Anybody can be reliable and on their best behavior when the principal's there, when their boyfriend's there, when their mom's there. The real character is, what are you doing in the dark when I'm not looking? That's greatness. And listen, outside of Ronaldinho managed to hold it together long enough, right? He cheated himself by basically being Maradona light. But I can't put Maradona in the greatest number 10s. I can't. Because the character, what about the character? You got to produce on the football field. And the greatest ability in life, it doesn't matter whether it's in sport or personal life, but mostly in sport, the greatest ability, nothing comes close, is availability. Maradona wasn't available enough. And he failed at Barcelona. Like, we have to be able to say that out loud. The drugs derailed him, and life's hard. But greatness is when I see you. You know why we hold people up to greatness? Is we say, you are doing things I can't do. Anybody can go to Barcelona, right, and fail and take drugs. That's the easy option out. I'm sorry. We all have our problems. But if you want to be held as great, Maradona certainly cannot, in my book, be held as great. And I know, because he made you feel good, because he was cool, because he was a maverick, and I'm a maverick myself. So I understand the maverick thing. I love Maradona for what he was. But I can't put him in my top 5. No way. No way, no how. Forget it. Be honest, distill it. If you don't like what I'm saying, go and find a natural scientist. Go and find somebody. Listen, I did a chemistry undergrad, so go and find some scientists. Let them tell you what it means to be substance over form. Maradona, you know what Maradona is? He's empty calories. Bagels are great, but you're gonna wear them on your. Trust me, you're gonna wear them on your hips for the next 6 months. Empty calories. I don't do empty calories. I'm 9.5% body fat right now. Yeah, I got no problem saying it. Yeah, people probably think, oh, this guy's a douchebag. Yeah, well, you know, it's what happens. Run 100 kilometers a week. I'm 9.5% body fat right now. I don't do empty calories. And if you want to have empty calories, you better be willing to train. Maradona was not. Rest in peace, El Pibe de Oro. One of the most enigmatic figures, one of the greatest figures, and truly a gift to football. Can't put him in my top 5, though. Sorry. And I like Maradona, but I don't love him. I don't love him. Listen, it's close for me even between him and Francesco Totti. I'll be close. I'll be honest. It's really, really close. And I even like Rui Costa a little more than I like Maradona. I care about football. Don't give me the figure. Don't give me the Instagram thing. Listen, if you're a Man United fan right now, you got Paul Pogba. He's got the biggest fanfare. They love him, and he's the marketing guy. I love Paul Pogba for getting his money. I love the maverick. I love his ability to be who he is. I love that. But you're a footballer. I don't love that. Problem is, your character off the field, you can only hide the truth for so long. It's going to carry on the field. And Paul Pogba off the field, they probably need to babysit him. And then on the field, what happens? No tactical discipline. We need to babysit you. Argentina, what did they have to do to Maradona? You listen to Ozzy Ardiles. And there's a reason they had to room him with Diego Simeone and then Mauricio Pochettino. Both guys, Iron Men. Steel. Babysit. That's babysit Maradona. I don't want to babysit great. Great should babysit me. right? If you're great, you do the babysitting. I pay you the big money. You go and babysit. I don't want to babysit you. And Maradona's like a child, overgrown child. Alessandro Del Piero, Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldinho, Pele, and then Leo Messi. That's my top 5. You're welcome to MKT Inspires on social media. Otherwise, you're welcome to send me a message, Cliff Central Sport, on all social media. sport@cliffcentral.com. Love to know what you think. Those are my greatest. So not necessarily to play in the number 10 position, right? But they wore the number 10 jersey. I think I could have put Kaká on that list, but he wore 22, right? Never wore the number 10. So could have put Rivaldo on that list. He was close. Loved Rivaldo and some career. All right. It's the weekend. Quickly, let me quickly chat to you about Spurs Chelsea. Big game this weekend. It's a big game. Look, Lampard's on a good run. He's finally playing Conte defensive mid. I think he's finally, at long last, figured out that Conte is the best defensive midfielder after Makelele, I think. Right? After Makelele, we haven't seen one like Conte. He's got everything. Just enough ball skills. Listen, Makelele separated himself because he really could have played the number 10 role. Brilliant passer and great technique. Conte, a little short on the technique. Right? And technique is how do you collect the ball in order to prepare yourself to release the ball. And that's all body positioning and how you shifted with that first touch. Conte is a little bit of a bottleneck, but when you let him be defensive mid, he's good enough. He's tidy, quick, get it out your feet, and he's got the athleticism. So I think Lampard, he's on a good run. I don't think Spurs will want to lose this. I think Mourinho will keep it tight. I don't think they'll have the firepower. So I think Silva will deal with Kane's power. Conte will mop up in front of the back four there. And I don't know how Spurs are going to deal with the wing backs. But I think Spurs will keep it tight. Mourinho's got a good thing going there. I think it's a 1-1 draw. I just don't see another result. I think it's a 1-1 draw. I think Mourinho will be happy with that. I think Lampard will be happy with that. Both will get out of there. That's what I think. I just don't see another result. Neither team will want to lose. It's almost, let's everybody walk out of here. Two great warriors meet each other on the field. It's for now, I'll see you down the road. I don't want that fight. You're clearly at your apex. I'm at my apex. Let's get out of here without losing a limb. So I expect a 1-1 draw. Expect a cagey game. I think it'll be Chelsea dominating possession. You expect Spurs to be compact, tight, and try and catch Chelsea on the break. But Chelsea are on a good thing right now. The defense is looking good. The shape's looking good. And they've got a goalkeeper for the first time since Thibaut Courtois. So that's my prediction. I don't think I have much more to say. I'd love to know what you think. That is my Friday 5. That is my prediction for the weekend. And by the way, come and join us. MKT Show FPL. Come and join us. If you're looking for the password, just send me a DM and I will certainly give that to you. You can DM me Cliff Central Sport on all social media, Cliff C Sport on the tweet monster. Otherwise, I personally am MKT Inspires on all social media. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been another great week. Go and grab the podcast, by the way, wherever you go and subscribe to the podcast. As I said, that catalog will be catching up on the catalog moving forward. So you can get that wherever you like. It's available on the Cliff Central app. You can get it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. So you can just go and subscribe. It is the MKT Show, as that is said, the MKT Show. Go and like, share, subscribe, and be a friend, tell a friend. By the way, like, share, subscribe. Let's grow the movement. Love to know what you think. I know the cricket, the T20 is on right now. I don't watch T20. I'll just check the highlights. But I hope the boys do well. Faf du Plessis, good luck to the boys. Looking forward to having cricket back. That is great news. To all of you, be loved, be safe this weekend. There's a bit of rain in Johannesburg, so if you're fortunate enough to have a loved one with you, snuggle up tight, stay safe this weekend. We need you, of course, contributing to the economy. We're coming out, we're unlocking in South Africa. That's very, very good for us. Otherwise, be loved, stay safe. We're heading into an important time in the year where we get to spend time with our loved ones. So be safe so that you can spend time and share love with all of your loved ones this summer. That is a great thing coming out of a very difficult year for South Africans and the globe. So be safe. I'm MKT. He's Gareth Cliff. If you listen on the podcast, you can't see that I'm pointing to him. Cliff Central Sport, the MKT Show. For now, ladies and gentlemen, be safe, be loved. You could have been anywhere with anybody tonight. You chose to be with us and appreciate you for that. For now, though, we are the hell out of here.